Hello. It seems to be the sexy thing that everyone's doing. I know, right? Take it all in. Alright, so before I get started with my Muni story, a couple little disclaimers. The first one, I find that I am much more entertaining when you are drunk, or under the influence of something. So now would be a good opportunity to run to the bar or cook up some crack in the bathroom or whatever you guys do for kicks. Second, I'm really honored to be here. It's great. I was looking through the flyer thing when I came in, and the lineup's pretty impressive. It's like website people and somebody who wrote a screenplay and made that screenplay into something. And then there was that guy that we kind of thought was funny the last time, so I don't know, that's awesome. The last story that I had to tell, though, the Loogie story, was 2 minutes. It was short, and there was, they're like, you're running out of time. And this story is supposed to be 7 minutes, so you guys are in for filler, is what we're getting at here. And she already touched on this, but it's worth repeating. This is for the gentlemen. Sorry, ladies. I am currently single, and I don't know how, but if there's anybody with low standards out there, come find me after the show. Anyway, Muni story. I grew up in Southern California. Some people ask me where I grew up, and it doesn't really matter, because there is one universal truth. Well, there's two universal truths. Southern California sucks. That's the first. And the second one is that public transportation doesn't exist. I understand, okay, there's like a subway that like business people take or whatever, but I've never seen public transportation in operating form. Like Judge Doom dismantled the red car and built the 5 freeway through Toontown. No Roger Rabbit fans? Anyway, so I grew up and went to high school in Southern California, and I did what everybody else did. I drove a car, and I drove a 1989 white Toyota Camry. Yeah. Who I affectionately named Sigourney Weaver. Because apparently in high school, not only was I flaming, I was also a complete dork. And a lot has changed since. So, I graduated high school and I fled like crazy the minute. I went to San Francisco State. I didn't even look at the school. I just knew it was in San Francisco, and gay people live there, so I'm out. And I encountered Muni. I encountered buses and trains that did bus-like things and stairs and all that craziness. And I was flabbergasted, to say the least. Riding Muni was like riding a unicorn. Like, it was really just like, what? I get a transfer? This is so great! $1? I'm dating myself, but $2, that shit. Anyway, so, and I was that guy on Muni who was so in love with the experience that I was like talking to people and being like, I was like, oh my god, you shopped today? So did I. Like, let's discuss. I was basically like an episode of Fresh Air. Like, it was really just like, forgive me, I do a really bad Terry Gross, but it's like, hi, this is Fresh Air. Today we're talking to the bus driver who doesn't want to hear a word I'm saying. But I was in love with it. It was great. Times, they are changing a little bit. Forgot what I was going to say next, but that's okay. So, I was just totally all over the map with this whole Muni situation, loving life. I love this camera angle that you have. It's really just directly up my nose. It's true. And, there's that stage block situation. Something happened on Muni, it was hilarious. See you later.
You were going to school.
What a good idea. I know, right? Anyway, so I was on the bus, as you do, and I was totally into the whole obeying the rules of the bus. You'd get on the bus and it would be like, please move to the back of the bus. And I'm like, okay, bus, you know, like, let's go. And I would totally just like scoot to the back, like you do. And, you know, I would keep my valuables close to me because the bus was like, keep your valuables close to you. Awesome. And, whatever. And so I'm sitting in the back of the bus. In that really awful area, and I know it's awful now, there's like the two benches that face each other. And it's really hard to like be in your happy spot and like picture making out with Elijah Wood or whatever, whatever you do on the bus. Because, you know, there's just, you're having a staring contest with a 12-year-old who has like dyslexia and is just kind of like screaming in your face, and you're just kind of great. Anyway, so I should mention that I live in the Western Addition. Anybody else? Good. It's a perfectly lovely neighborhood. It's accessed by many a Muni line. The 24 comes to mind. The 38, which I'll get to later, comes to mind. But to hear it from my friends, the Western Addition is like Marin. Like, really? You want me to come visit you? But that's going to take like 15 minutes. And I am looking at all you Mission people. There is a whole city above Market Street. But, you know, and this is where I'm going to reveal myself to be a hypocrite. I had a friend, I still have a friend, she's a very dear friend, her name is Lydia, for the story's sake, and for real life, her name is Lydia. She now lives in Atlanta, which is unfortunate because it means I know somebody in the South, but, you know, she lives a beautiful life, but she used to live in the outer Richmond. We're talking like, oh, I'm sorry. You're not going to enjoy what I have to say next. We're talking like all the way at the end of the 38. Like I think her intersection was like Geary and the Farollon Islands. Like it was just like awful. And she constantly referred to her house as the beach house, which she thought was cute, despite the fact that I told her that no cute name could ever make me going to the outer Richmond appealing. She lived in the city for 4 years. She's one of my best friends. I was in her wedding. I went to her house twice. Hypocrite. So this story of mine takes place on the 38th, the first time I went to her house. As we've already established, I'm in the back. That was the story that was the part of the story I forgot to say. By the way, all that like location stuff. So I'm in the back, and this is old Jesse. This is happy Jesse. I'm riding the bike. It's an adventure, and there's a few people around. And on that back bench, which is one of my favorite places to be, because you're just far, far away, there are two people. On one side, next to the window, there is a sexy Rosie Perez lookalike, and she's like pre-Pineapple Express, Rosie Perez. She kind of scared me in Pineapple Express. And I know what you're saying. You're saying like, oh, some of you are saying, oh, Jesse, how do you know a girl's sexy? You're flaming. And like people give me that all the time, and I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like I've never touched a vagina. Great. And then this one asshole was like, oh, everybody touches a vagina once when you're born. And I was like, I was a C-section baby, and don't talk about my mom's vagina. So you know, Scout's honor, like no fucking touching. Anyway, so bottom line, I can tell that she's sexy. You know, she looks good. So she's back there. She's got a bag. She's doing her thing. And on the other end, there is her opposite. Let's call it. He is a man. He is large. He kind of looks like if Ron Weasley from like the Harry Potter. I don't know who plays him in the movie. The ginger. Rupert. Thank you. Rupert Grint. Rupert Grint and like the Simpsons comic book guy. You know, like had a baby or something. He even has like the ponytail with the bald situation. Yeah. No, it's real life on Muni. So. And he is like hitting on her hard from across the aisle, like whatever, the expanse of the like 4 seats. But it's the most like awkward hitting on you've ever heard. It's like, hey, how are you doing? There's no James Bond suaveness about this shit. And I swear to God, one of the things that falls out of his mouth is, that bra must be working overtime because it makes your breasts look good. You know? And I wonder why I don't get dates, because I don't bust gems like that out. Anyway, so everybody else, he's just loud and obnoxious. She's holding her shit. And everybody else is doing that like 1,000-yard stare that you do on Muni when shenanigans are going on around you. You just kind of like, Well, now they have the iPod, but back then it was like the Walkman, and my Walkman had 10 seconds of skip protection. But like, so everybody's doing that, and I'm very invested. I'm like, I'm young Jessie. I'm on it. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna be there for this girl if she needs me. And, you know, so people start to leave because the 30 is like the longest bus ride ever. And eventually it's just me, Ron Weasley, and Rosie Perez. And every like 10 minutes or so, Ron starts to like, he like scoots over a unit. Like those seats are like all, you know, unit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And he's still just saying obnoxious shit, like, oh, you know, like, I like the way your hair sits on your head or whatever. And so eventually there's one seat separating you. And he says probably the creepiest thing that he could say, what stop do you get off at? And like, I'm totally thinking like his next question is like, do you have family members that'll miss you? It's like, you're gone for a while. So I decided to snap into action, and I get up and like walk over and just like plunk down in that middle seat. See, I wish that's the way it would have went. So I'm there, Ron's here, and Rosie Perez is here, and he's like fuming and kind of like mumbling shit. And I'm just like, please don't let this turn into a slap fight, because like I can't do it. Because like, what am I gonna do? Punch the guy? I'm like, this is it, you know? And I'm just like, hi. So he says something to the effect of like, oh, that was my seat. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And eventually, like 2 stops later, he gets off and leaves. But then it's just me and Rosie Perez, and I'm sitting right next to her, and I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I don't know if I didn't want money or anything. Like, I didn't want like a reward or like a crown or something, a badge. Like, hey, like a little ribbing. Like, oh, that guy was weird. Like, yeah, it's great. You saved me from like possible rape. It would have been nice, is all I'm saying. What I didn't expect, of course, on Muni. What do you expect that happens on Muni? Anyway, was she opens her bag. She's been holding the whole time, and kind of leans it towards me. I see this in my excellent peripheral vision. And it's very obvious, like, look at what I have in the bag. So I look at what she has in the bag, and it's the biggest can of mace I've ever seen in my life. It's huge, right? You know, I have penis envy for this mace can. So she then proceeds to say another unexpected trinket. She goes, well, I wasn't gonna fuck him, and I'm not gonna fuck you either. To which I, okay, great, you know, and I like run away. But you know, and I think that was the beginning of my jaded period. That was really like when I went from somebody who cared to somebody who did not care. And really, like, I sit on the bus now and I see like the craziest shenanigans, and I see these conversations that there are interesting conversations on Muni. I overhear them and God, I'd love to like interject and like get myself in there. Or I see like fights, like really epic fights that I kind of want to like do something about. And you know, I see just interesting shit too. Like this one time I saw a fucking woman holding a quart of Haagen-Dazs, eating it, but using the lid as like a shovel. You know, and it was just like, I want to know how she found herself in this situation. Like, I want to know everything about her. I want to become best friends with her. You know, and as the people who saw my story last time, or who have been unfortunate enough to know me long enough, have heard the story about me witnessing somebody, a homeless guy, spitting on a woman, like really just smack on the side of the face, and like hepatitis and everything. And you know, and then I didn't do anything. I didn't get involved. I didn't stand up for her. And I think every now and then, oh God, I really should have, like, interjected. I should have come to her defense. I should have, I don't know, offered her a napkin or something. Just like, you know, because she was alone with her fucking spit wad on her face. And I get kind of sad about it. I feel like there's a loss of innocence or something like that. That I don't, I'm apathetic now. And when I do think that though, when I think, ah, God, you know, I should have done something, there's just one thought that is in my heart and in my mind, and it's that, well, she probably wouldn't have fucked me anyway. So. And then I'm all better. And I thank you.